Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Duke Silver. Today we are going to be doing an Arena Cube draft. This will be my second Arena Cube draft that I've posted from this round of Cube, I should say. But yeah, let's just dive into it. I'm going to be doing the draft portion today. It's going to be sped up, and then I'm going to be doing the I'll be posting the games tomorrow. But yeah, so we start off with a relatively unexciting pack. Nothing extremely jumps out to me. Shatter Skull Smashing, I think, is going to be our pick. It's just very versatile. It's a land as well as a removal spell, and I'm just a big fan of the card, so we're gonna go with that first. So in pack number 2, Meat Hook Massacre is maybe one of the most broken cards to be printed in the last couple years in Magic. It's 2 black and X, and then gives everything -X/-X. And whenever one of your creatures dies, your opponent loses a life. And whenever one of your opponent's creatures dies, you gain a life. So it just does too many things. You kind of get rewarded for creatures dying, as well as you get to wipe the board. So it's just an incredibly powerful card. And yeah, with that, we've got 2 X spells, so we're going to be looking to maybe get some extra mana, as well as kind of building into sort of a I guess creatures dying sort of value theme. It's kind of like an aristocrats type of archetype generally present in these cubes that I'm a very big fan of, that I'll probably be looking to get into. But yeah, so again, speaking of, we have 2 X spells, so extra mana is going to be great. So this Hedron Archive is looking very good. Right now I'm looking at the Phyrexian Dragon Engine, I think it was called. But yeah, the Hedron Archive is kind of what I'm looking at the most right now. Wormcoil Engine, I think, is probably the second choice there. Hedron Archive just activates so many different strategies. It just keeps us a lot more open. Wormcoil Engine's incredible. It keeps you, it stabilizes you when you're behind, as well as it's like a really nice thing to ramp into. And then we don't really get much in the way of the same theme as what we have here. We're looking at Jin Gitaxias, which is a big threat that you can ramp into, but it's a double blue, and we're not in blue yet. So I think we're gonna try and stick to the colors we're in right now. We're gonna take Kolaghan's Command. It's just a very good utility card. It also can get Hedron Archive from the graveyard if we draw a couple cards with it. And we've got this Hedron Archive. We've got a land already in 2 X spells. We're looking to pick up more like artifact ramp. So I think we're going to take Ulamog out of here. There's a reasonable chance we can get to 10 mana with this Hedron Archive already drafted. Ulvenwald Hydra, we could take that to go into more of like a heavy ramp strategy. There's Gutter Bones, which is really good as a recurring character. Braids is really good if you're generating tokens, as it says when you sacrifice I think it's an artifact, creature, or enchantment, your opponent has to sacrifice a card of the same type. Or else they lose 2 life and you draw a card. But we end up going with Ashnod, which is a 1-mana 1/1 Death Toucher, and when it attacks, you can sacrifice a creature to turn it into a Power Stone. And yeah, I mean, since we're looking to ramp anyways, I figured Power Stones are gonna be worth picking up. Pick up a black-white land, as white is the most logical splash for this type of deck so far. We don't really have things to sacrifice yet, but we are set up for that. We're going to take a Pillar of Flame here, just some early game interaction. As I mean, it's good to hedge against aggro, just in general, especially in the low-powered cubes. As aggro's just very easy to draft and very prevalent in general. There's 4 black mana symbols there with an artifact kind of ramp deck. I don't think we're interested in that. We're going to take a God Pharaoh's Gift, which is a card I'm a huge fan of, and we wield the Palladium Mirror, which is a 3-mana 2/2 that taps for 2 colorless. We also wield Jin Gitaxias, which I don't think we're gonna play, but we'll pick it up anyways. It's possible that we could end up in like a Reanimator type thing, and maybe find ways to put it in the graveyard and reanimate it. But yeah, the Palladium Mirror is a great pickup, as it just contributes to our ramp plan, as well as its artifact ramp, so we can cast it with like Power Stones from Ashnod. Just take a couple last picks. We're not going to play either of those. The Goblin Chain Whirler is very, very good in mono red, but three red mana symbols is just a little bit too much of an ask for the deck we're building here. We're actually going to take Mind Stone, which is just a 2-mana mana rock. It's just very versatile, and you can cash it in for a card later, and I'm just a very big fan of it. It can ramp us into our bigger ramp. Here it's between Morbid Opportunist and the Mayhem Devil, as well as there's a Transmogrant's Crown, which is very good. It's basically like a poor man's Skull Clamp. We do go with the Morbid Opportunist, though. I mean, that can just generate card advantage, like, really effectively, if we can get any kind of token generation. And we get some token generation, finally, as we pick up a Chandra there, which can make 2 at 1/1 elementals that get sacrificed at the end of each turn. Immortal Sun's another artifact that's really good to ramp into. It gives you extra cards, it reduces the cost to your spells, and it shuts down Planeswalkers. But we're going to go with the Devil's Play. It's another X spell, another way to use all this mana that we're kind of accumulating. Looking at big score right now, just probably a little bit too expensive. We want ways, again, we want ways to generate tokens. Crypt Breaker could be an answer to that as well. But I think we're just going to take the land. Again, we're just going to set ourselves up for a splash just in case. Because I mean, again, white, like if white has like a lot of cards that synergize with this type of build that we're kind of in. There's a white red and a black white land, so I think our colors are relatively open here. Another black white land. There's also this card that conjures a Blood Artist. Which yeah, Blood Artist would be a very good pickup for us, as it just like it wants us to every time a creature dies, it just drains the opponent. But we do take the Ornithopter there because it's gonna, I mean, it contributes to our ramp plan, and it's just a solid two mana play. And we're gonna just pick up more land, so we're very set up for a white splash if we end up going that route. Siege Gang Commander is going to be a great pickup. It's a 5 mana 2/2 that spawns 3 goblins, and you can pay 2 to sacrifice a goblin and deal 2 damage to any source, and that's going to be incredibly strong. It's incredibly strong, especially with our God Pharaoh's Gift, which God Pharaoh's Gift I didn't go over, which is at the beginning of each of your combat steps, you get to return a creature from your graveyard, or sorry, you don't get to return it, you get to exile it, and then you get a 4/4 copy of that creature into play. So you can't do it over and over again, but it's still a great value, great sort of value engine, especially since we're sacrificing creatures. So we have lots of ways to like put our creatures in the graveyard and kind of get value out of our God Pharaoh's Gift. We got a lot of decent little synergies kind of across this deck so far. We're just kind of in our last picks now. Pick up a we're gonna pick up a Fireblade Charger, or sorry, no, we pick up the artifact. Never mind. The artifact was a thing that you get a construct for exiling creatures from your graveyard. We're probably not going to play it, since we have the God Pharaoh's Gift, and just like redundant effects that exile things from your graveyard get very awkward. Alright, on to pack 3. Agadeem's Awakening is an interesting one for sure. Portal to Phyrexia, though, we're already ramping, and we have a couple ways to make Power Stones. We have Ashnod, and I think we had one more other thing. But yeah, it's just a great thing to ramp into. So we are going to pick that up, and also like it kind of catches you up when you're behind, as it makes your opponent sacrifice 3 creatures, and then you start getting creatures back from your graveyard to play. Cold Steel Heart, I mean, another 2 mana mana rock. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we have to just highly prioritize those because we're trying to cast huge spells, and I think it's just going to be just a little bit too important for us to have ramp on 2 to be passing those by. Burn Down the House is an interesting one. It spawns a bunch of devils that you're definitely worth sacrificing. But I think we're going to go with Cruelty of Gix here. As I mean, it's a saga, so you get a bunch of value out of it. It lets you go find any card in your deck, as well as take cards out of your opponent's hand, and then act as a reanimation spell later, or in its 3rd chapter. And with Read Ahead, you get to choose which one you start on anyway, so very strong as far as utility goes. Just going to take Lightning Strike, some more interaction early, more hedging against aggro decks basically. And it kind of provides a little bit of reach because like we have ways to kind of nickel and dime our opponents down to low HPs, and Lightning Strike kind of just finish them off. Karn is definitely an interesting one. It's +1 and makes Power Stone tokens, and I mean we're already trying to ramp into big artifacts, so I think that's a pretty good pickup for us. I feel like the second ability is not that great, just because you have to spend mana to draw cards basically, whereas most planeswalkers will have a -1 draw card, like as a in some variation. So the fact that you have to -1 as well as spend mana, I mean, there's a higher ceiling than draw a card, but still. Alright, looking at Mishra's Command, which is pretty strong, but we don't end up going with it. There's a Phoenix Chick. If we get enough token generation, I mean, we're pretty late in the draft, so we're probably not going to, but if we had gotten enough, then Phoenix Chick would be a good one to kind of recur. We're going to take this Black-Red Legend, which makes a 2/1 every single turn. So it just gives us something to sacrifice every single turn, as well as it gets sacrificed at the end of turns, so it's just a very good sort of activator for our synergies here. I'm just going to go through our last picks here. Alright, and there we go. I think because we have so much artifact mana, we're making Power Stones. We don't really have a ton of ways to make a lot of mana, so I think we're gonna have to cut the Ulamog here, as we've got a pretty decent top end already in God Pharaoh's Gift and Portal to Phyrexia. Although if we can put Ulamog in the graveyard, then you can reanimate it. And I mean, exiling 20 cards per attack, as well as it being indestructible, makes it a very good threat. But I think that's what we're going to go with. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow with the games from this draft. Please remember to like and subscribe. If it really helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this. If this is a decent format to do these drafts. I know people were saying that MTG is a little bit hard to watch without commentary, as I tried uploading a draft or at least the games from a draft without commentary and just like sped up gameplay. And yeah, I heard the feedback. MTG just has such a huge card pool, so many different mechanics, especially with Cube. Like if you're not like providing commentary and explaining cards, like it makes it a lot harder to watch, like than something like Storybook. So yeah, definitely I'll try and make sure I include commentary, whether it's a VOD or I do post commentary. But yeah, definitely let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know what you think about the this like kind of dual video format for drafts, where I do like a draft on one day with post commentary, and then like maybe the games in a VOD the next day. I definitely loved hearing your feedback. I really appreciate everyone that takes the time to give me that feedback, and I definitely take it to heart. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.